The Costa Concordia disaster is one of the most notorious maritime accidents of the 21st century, which resulted not only in tragic loss of life but also immense ecological impact and legal repercussions. On the evening of January 13, 2012, the Italian cruise ship Costa Concordia struck a reef off the coast of Isola del Giglio, Tuscany, leading to its partial sinking. The Costa Concordia, a massive ship measuring 952 feet in length and weighing 114,500 gross tons, was on a voyage across the Mediterranean Sea. Under the command of Captain Francesco Schettino, the ship was carrying 3,206 passengers and 1,023 crew members on a journey that included picturesque ports in the Mediterranean. However, the voyage took a disastrous turn when Captain Schettino decided to perform a sail-pass salute to the island of Giglio, deviating from the ship's programmed route to come closer to the island. This maneuver proved catastrophic. At 9:45 p.m., the Costa Concordia struck a rock formation known as La Scole. The impact tore a 160-foot gash in the port side hull of the ship, and power was lost shortly thereafter. As water flooded the engine rooms and power generators, the ship began to list severely to starboard. The evacuation process was chaotic and panic-stricken. Many passengers and crew were unprepared for the emergency, having not yet undergone the mandatory safety drill. Lifeboats on the listing side became unusable, exacerbating the scramble for safety on the rapidly tilting ship. The evacuation was further hampered by the ship's increasing tilt, making it impossible to launch the remaining lifeboats. Amidst the chaos, Captain Schettino abandoned the ship before all passengers were evacuated, an act that led to widespread criticism and later legal consequences. Rescue operations continued through the night and into the next day, involving Coast Guard and local fishing boats. Ultimately, 32 people lost their lives in the disaster, with the bodies of 2 victims never recovered. The Costa Concordia remained partially submerged on its side near Giglio's port, creating an urgent ecological threat due to the potential for fuel leakage. A complex salvage operation was planned and executed over the following months, becoming the largest and most expensive in history. The ship was eventually righted and refloated in a remarkable feat of engineering in September 2013, and then towed to Genoa for dismantling and recycling in July 2014. Legal proceedings against Captain Schettino began in July 2013. He was found guilty of manslaughter, causing a maritime disaster, and abandoning ship before all passengers and crew had been evacuated. In 2015, he was sentenced to 16 years in prison. The Costa Concordia disaster serves as a sobering reminder of the importance of maritime safety regulations and the dire consequences of negligence at sea. It highlighted issues of ship design, crew training, and the responsibilities of ship captains and operators, leading to tightened safety protocols in the cruise industry. The event remains a poignant example of how human error can lead to tragedy, despite advances in technology and safety standards.
Captain's maneuver. Captain Francesco Schettino's decision to perform a sail-pass salute near the island of Giglio was highly unorthodox and dangerous, ultimately leading to the ship striking a reef. This risky maneuver was done reportedly to impress a member of the crew and island residents, displaying a grave lapse in judgment. Captain abandoning ship. One of the most shocking elements of the disaster was that Captain Schettino abandoned the ship before ensuring that all passengers and crew were safely evacuated, violating a fundamental maritime law and principle. Delayed evacuation order. The evacuation order was not given until over an hour after the collision, despite the ship's severe listing and the obvious ingress of water. This delay contributed significantly to the ensuing chaos and was a critical failure in the ship's emergency response. Communication failures. There was considerable confusion and lack of clear communication between the crew and passengers, and also in the information provided to emergency services and the Coast Guard. Miscommunication exacerbated the disorganized evacuation process. Complex salvage operation. The salvage operation of the Costa Concordia was the largest and most expensive in maritime history. The engineering feat involved in rotating and refloating the massive, 114,500-ton vessel was unprecedented and complex. Legal repercussions and media coverage. The extensive media coverage and public scrutiny following the disaster, along with the captain's high-profile trial and subsequent conviction, turned the event into a global spectacle and a cautionary tale about maritime safety and ethics.